Good morning, good afternoon, and hello to our Power Boost today. The power of acceptance. The new year is approaching and many are busy in finding New Year's resolutions. And, after all, I think we all are looking for a more peaceful life experiences. And actually a very easy and fast method to experience peace or to reach a state where I can feel more calm and quiet and peaceful inside is by using the power of acceptance. Love is always the answer, right? Most of the time. So acceptance is a form of love, expressed towards the self. Now, if I don't accept, there's resistance. And resistance means there's fighting, there's battling, there's struggling, there's suffering. I cannot move forward. I will feel sooner or later stuck. And that relates to any situation. Now, if I really want to move forward, if I'm interested in bringing a genuine form of change, without using anger, without, being all the time upset and unhappy, or controlling and putting force on others, is to learn and to be willing to accept what is. Now, that is especially in relation to situations, circumstances around us. Many times we try to control the uncontrollable, meaning what I cannot control, I try to control. So we will never be successful. There will never be peace. We have to realize, we have to understand that there are many, many things in life, in my immediate and wider world, that I cannot control, that are outside of my control. And to willing to be accept does not mean to agree. To accept simply means I'm using a different perspective and I'm willing to think that whatever is okay. In the sense that it's out of my control. And instead of resisting, instead of wanting it to be different, instead of disliking, instead of, being unhappy and constantly banging your head against the wall. This is like when it feels to be, when there's a lot of resistance, to accept what is. And that's the first step to create inner peace and to actually create a platform where I can move forward. And to accept means that I am willing to bring change. I am willing to look through a different lens, have a different perspective, whether it's a person, personality, the way people behave, the way people act, situations, circumstances. The more I insist something, someone has to be the way I think it's right. If I think it's supposed to be like that, it should be like that. It's possible. It should be differently. But as a matter of fact, it is not. So what are you going to do? You're going to will start fighting. You start to be unhappy. And so to accept means to also be willing to come out from my own ego, because it is my own ego that is pushing me into a way of thinking that I am right. Things should be the way I understand, the way I see them. And if things happen differently, there's a clash, but it's clashing actually against my own ego. And so the willingness to, come down from the horse, the willingness to be open for something different and to be positive towards it, embrace different opinions, embrace circumstances that you didn't anticipate it, that you didn't invite it in your life, but as a matter of fact, they are here. And using the power of love in the form of acceptance, for example. Yes, I don't agree with it, but I accept it, and I accept it from my heart. This now allows me to develop a very different perspective towards what I considered to be an obstacle challenge. I can't get along with this one. I can't get along with that one. There are many situations in life, but if we use the power of acceptance, the power of love in this way, it will help us a great deal to experience inner peace more often, more frequently, for a longer period of time. But then there's also a next step. And that additional step is, as I indicated, to have that openness, that willingness to bring a change and to open my own inner horizon towards the world around me, but also towards my own self. So definitively the power of acceptance also needs to be applied, or it would be good if we use it also towards the self. Whether it's the self or others, instead of being bossy, demanding, controlling, forceful, I start to use love. I start to be more respectful towards my own self. I am willing to connect with the goodness, with the strength within me. I am willing to be positive. I'm willing to use my inner capacity, my inner strength, my specialties, my innate goodness, in order to overcome weaknesses, to overcome challenges. The difference is, if I'm willing to connect to my innate goodness, I will have, because I empower myself, I'll have the courage and the strength to use my strength to overcome the weakness, to see the weakness, to accept the weakness or shortcomings or mistakes, without having to put myself down, without having to punish myself. Do you understand? So if I want to bring any form of change for betterness, for more peace, then instead of fighting, instead of being, demanding, forceful, and so on, I accept, I embrace something that I did not ask for. And why do I embrace it? Because it is there. And however unhappy I am, it still will be there. So who is suffering? Who is in trouble? Whether it's towards situations or other people, or towards the self. And for the new year, already there are so many things happening in the world. And the more we are able to accept the self as I am, with all the reactions and shortcomings we have and perspectives we have towards the self and others, the more we are open to accept it and bring in something new, something more positive. It will help all of us to also deal with all the stuff that's going on in the world. Each time I'm willing to empower the self, meaning to connect to my innate goodness, connect to what I do well, connect to my strengths, I empower myself. And when I am empowered, when I'm connected to my inner strength, I'm able to embrace what I perceived before as negative, as difficult, as a challenge, as a problem. And this then allows me to look for solutions, look for answers, being constructive in my moving forward, in my way of living. Instead of, when there is resistance, it's not very easy or possible actually to remain positive, to be constructive, to create something that is beneficial for the self and for others. So to also realize that, you know, many things happening, and even you will discover things on your own self, behaviors, attitudes, the way you express yourself sometimes, which you don't like. But then how do I overcome it? How do I move forward? Now that's where I first, not just tolerate, but accept from the heart. I allow my feelings to change. And all of that is connected to actually develop a positive attitude towards negativity. I can only create peace with the power of peace, with the power of non-violence. Using any form of violence, how can we create peace? How can we experience peace? So let us move into meditation and explore the inner self a little bit more deeply. For the next few moments, I choose to shift the focus of my attention from the world around me, from the problems, the situations, the noise, the many people, all the tasks that I have to do or should do. For the next few moments, I choose to leave the world, step out from the awareness of my sense perception and step inward, connect inwardly with the intention to touch my innate goodness, to connect with an energy that is within the self, but beyond physical sense perception. I cannot see the love, the peace, the happiness with these eyes, but I know they are there. So leaving the world behind and having the intention to remember what is good, remember the essence of who I am, takes courage, and it takes me to a place of empowerment, I am willing to accept that I am a being of goodness, a being of light. And that I have the strength and all the qualities that I need to overcome any challenge, any obstacle, any situation. I have the faith and the courage that if I'm willing to accept the true self, I bring or awaken the light within, and I'm able to awaken the light of others as my way of reaching out, my way of interacting, my way of being comes from a place of positivity. I accept who I am. I accept my own light, my own strength. And from this place of empowerment, it becomes easy to accept challenges, use my abilities to overcome them in a constructive and positive way. Om Shanti.